Georgia.
Well, thank you, my friend from Indiana. It's good to be here, and it's good to get started, I think, on what we've been sent here to do. And I think that's the great thing about us coming together tonight and sharing, from a freshman perspective, our first few days in which we've been thrown into a Congress that really I don't believe any have experienced before. There have been tough challenges, but I think this is going to be an interesting time for us all, and I appreciate us getting together tonight as we go forward.
Thank you.
Mr. I come from the great Georgia 9. Northeast Georgia district is full of mountain values, common sense. And when we look at the district, as I traveled around for almost 18 months, what I kept hearing from people all along was that they wanted their life to look ahead to something brighter future. And I think right now, from an economic perspective, when we look at what's going on, that is what they're most concerned about. They're looking at what they have in the national level, and they're looking at our debt, they're looking at our economic and our budget issues, and they're saying, how is this effective? How is this going to be better for my kids and my grandkids? And I thought to myself as I was traveling around, and when I ran, I told my constituents, I said, I run for 3 reasons. And they were Jordan, Copeland, and Cameron. And they're my 3 children. And I told them, I said, they represent not only my 3 kids and their future, but they represented the kids and the grandkids of the district and the nieces and nephews of those that everybody in my district lived with and cared for. Because it is their future that we're dealing with here. It's their future. When we talk about our economics and we talk about the problem we're in, this is the area in which we have got to work as Congress. We cannot shirk the duty. We cannot pass it along. They expect us to act. And they expect us to act in a way in which, as we look forward, actually makes a difference in their life. You know, President Obama recently told our speaker, he said he doesn't believe we have a debt problem. $16 trillion in the hole, and our out-of-touch commander-in-chief doesn't think we have a serious problem on our hands. Well, as my friend from North Carolina just stated, I want to go with the entire quote. And this was said, the fact that we are here today to debate raising America's debt limit is a sign of leadership failure. Leadership means the buck stops here. Instead, Washington is shifting the burden of bad choices today onto the backs of our children and grandchildren. America has a debt problem and a failure of leadership. Americans deserve better. I therefore intend to oppose the effort to increase America's debt limit. Now, as we look at this issue, it really amazes me is I want to focus not on this debt issue. I want to focus on basically what it says here, is that America has a debt problem and it's a failure of leadership. Well, if it's a failure of leadership back in 2006, it must be a catastrophic nightmare at this point.
That's right.
Because all we've done is increase it.
Yeah.
We've got to do better. We're borrowing almost half of every dollar we spend. If we don't provide serious measures to take care of it, we will leave our country in absolute debacle for our kids and grandchildren, and that's simply not a price I'm willing to pay. Also, our president just recently also talked about not only a debt problem, he doesn't believe we have a spending problem. And I thought to myself, we don't have a spending problem? But yet one of our colleagues, Representative Lankford, just stated, just the other day I heard, that in 2012 we'll have the 3rd highest revenue year ever in federal government. 3rd highest, and yet we're still discussing the fact that we don't have a spending problem. I'm sorry, Mr. President, this is not leadership. This is failure. We cannot continue to give the President and those on the other side of the aisle a blank check. Any discussion of raising a debt ceiling must also include an examination of serious reforms needed to entitlement and discretionary spending. When we look at this, on January 2nd, 2013, President Obama stated that we cannot continue to cut our way to prosperity. Well, Mr. President, on the contrary, we cannot tax and spend our way to prosperity either. I think tonight we're starting what I hope will become a regular occurrence for this freshman class. My friend from Indiana, as we look at it, it's what I believe we have to do. And I believe it's about telling our story and telling why conservative principles matter. And how conservative principles, when we explain how that we can get debt off their back, spending under control, then it's freedom for their kids to have a better future. So they can go to college, so they can buy that or start that new business, to employ other people. I believe America's greatest gift was found in the free enterprise system. And that's what we can encourage by getting our own fiscal house in order here tonight. This is a time for us to come together, and I'm pleased to stand with you and with the other freshmen here tonight, and as we continue to discuss, just that we're here to work. We're here to make some hard choices and realize it's all in America's best interest. I appreciate you letting me be a part of this tonight.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here.